Suicide riff.
Okay, Matt, let's quickly talk about the weekend's rugby that's passed.
Loved it.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about the Lions or you want to talk about the Springboks?
We can talk about the Lions. That was the first game, obviously. I thought it was a bit of a dead rubber kind of game. I thought the Force would put up more of a showing. They held on for what seemed like a good 20 odd minutes. It seemed like a low scoring, and then the Lions just went away. The thing that was most impressive for me about the Lions was they seemed to have a lot of shape. They seemed to be very cohesive very early, and they didn't have. I mean, what was it? 54-7.
54-7, yeah.
54-7. So that's a good drubbing. I do think they'll come up against stronger opposition. I think there's a game tonight.
Well, they played this morning. I watched it.
Did you? I haven't watched it yet. I've got a 6-week-old kid. Anyway, I'll watch it when I get home. But I think they showed some really, really good signs, and so they should. They're a mesh of internationals playing against provincial players. Sure, there were some Aussie internationals there in the Western Force team, but it was always going to be one-way traffic. And fair play to the WA boys to hold on for as long as they did. But once the gates opened, I think that kind of consistency, that shape, that form, that reliance on knowing that the person outside you is also an international, so they know what they need to be doing, that shone through.
I totally agree with you. I don't think the result was ever in doubt. Everyone would have backed the Lions to win with that squad that they've picked. It's a group of world-class players. I think every single time you watch the Lions play, the Test team is sort of taking shape in front of your eyes. There's certain things. I know you said you didn't watch this morning's game. I did did some work on the couch, did watch the game, and you can see like Finn Russell. You're talking about that shape that they play with. He's crucial to that in the back line. To get them going. I know you're a Marcus Smith guy, but I can promise you that Finn Russell will start in the Test. He will play next to Gibson Park, and then they should partner. I still like the combo of Tui Palutu and Jones, but they might go Bundy and Jones.
Yeah.
I like Jones as an out-and-out 13. So every single time you see guys play, you sort of get the idea of how the team's shaping up. Like I think Duan is playing himself out of the Test team.
You reckon?
I reckon. I think James Lowe and Freeman will be the wingers going into the Test. But still, there's a lot of rugby to play.
Matt Hansen, I thought, had a really good game.
He came on against the Force and he really made an impact. And a lot of people question his inclusion in the touring squad. There was a lot of folks up north in Scotland saying Darcy Graham should have been picked ahead of him. I was one of them. I thought he's a better player than Mac Hansen, but he did so well coming on.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time before the Lions start gelling, and then they're going to be really, really scary. They won convincingly against the Force. They won convincingly against the Reds this morning.
Don't tell me the score.
I'm not going to tell you the score, but I did give you the results. Sorry, Matt.
That's all right. Well,
but
it's understandable.
But and still the 50-50 passes aren't sticking. They do make mistakes. They're not executing as well as they should, but they're winning comfortably. So at some point they're gonna mesh on this tour, and I think. I was one of the people that said Australia might sneak a Test victory, and maybe it's a 2-1 Test series for the Lions. I think it might be a 3-0 drubbing. We'll see how Australia goes against Fiji on Sunday, but
it'll be
for a long tour.
I think so. I think it'll be interesting to see how Australia stand up as a team. Obviously, the end of their autumn series here up north in the Northern Hemisphere gave us a lot more encouragement as fans to go, this is actually potentially going to be a really good series. Now it's up to them to kind of take that sort of momentum that they had and see if they can keep pushing on with it and stand up properly in their home country.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear, I'm not a Marcus Smith guy. I think...
so explain the poster against your wall of Marcus Smith. Shirtless.
The one with darts. No, I think Finn Russell played really, really well on the weekend. His passing is unbelievable. He's
the best passer of the ball in world rugby.
Without a doubt. It's just, sometimes it's on the line, it's on the edge. I mean, some of those passes, he seems to be moving backwards and yet it floats. Like it's still coming out the back of the hand, but it's on the line. You could call it forward or it could be called as it was, fair. But again, if he's got a good delivery from Jamison Gibson Park, and he's running onto the ball and he's putting people into space, I think he is the out and out flyer.
Yeah.
Tomas Williams playing well at 9. I was watching him. He's getting the ball from the deck into the hands immediately. So either he's watching our podcast and he's taking the criticism on board and he's listening, or he's being managed by a coaching staff to effectively do that and not pick up the ball and run with it in the first instance. So
I'm pretty sure it's the latter.
yeah,
Can I piss on your battery?
go for it.
He's out of the tour.
Oh,
Yeah, he pulled his hamstring and he's out of the tour. And Ben White's been called up from Scotland. So.
fair enough. He played well while he had the opportunity. He had a couple of good games, which was.
I think he would have started on the bench potentially ahead of Mitchell. Right? He was looking really good.
Yeah, he did. He played well. So look, I think the Lions are shaping up, for want of a better term, because we're using the word that they've got great shape. They're shaping up to be a outstanding proposition. And for Australia, if they want to have any kind of a sniff of an opportunity, they need to stand up because they've got some serious opposition coming their way.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's the Lions. Let's move on to
The Bokke.
The Bokke, the main game, the real rugby.
It looked cold and wet in Cape Town, but the rugby was hot.
It was. I mean, it started off scrappy. Again, lots of new players getting an opportunity to play for the Bokke, which is great to see. I was so happy to see Vincent Chichuka as part of the 23. He definitely deserves a shot.
He had a great game.
He's been so good for the Sharks consistently for the last couple of seasons. So, and he had a great game.
Yeah.
I think it started off scrappy, but finished really, really strong. There was a shot into the second half. I think it was at 46 minutes. Where Rassie just pulled in the whole bomb squad, and you can literally see the coaches on the Barbarian side all go like this, and they knew they were in for a world of pain.
Yeah,
but I was impressed with the Bokke's performance. I think it was, you can literally see the evolution of this team every single time they get onto the field. Rassie keeps pushing the envelope. He keeps pushing the envelope in terms of what you can do with a bench. They picked a 5-3 bench, and then he brings Andre Esterhuizen on and plays him on the flank. So it wasn't really a 5-3 flank, but is this the new evolution of the rugby player, the hybrid?
Yeah.
Kwagga, he's mentioned a lot of times, Kwagga can cover wing.
Of course.
But he's a loose forward. Andre Esterhuizen now can play at flank. He's a centre. So is that the next evolution of the bench? Is to say, yeah, we'll pick a 6-2 split, but the two backs we pick and all play in the pack. Why not? And that's just Rassie continuously pushing the boundaries, seeing what's possible, what works, what doesn't work. And against the Barbars, it was the best opportunity to trial something like that. I loved it.
Of course. And the Barbarians were good value for their run on. There were some good plays that they had. But I think, you come up against the world champions, even, I don't want to say a makeshift side, because there were double World Cup winners throughout that team. But as you say, Rassie is trialing combinations. He's trialing
an experimental side. And then they get thrashed 54-7 again, which is weird that the same scoreline was in both games on that Saturday. But I thought there were some outstanding performances. Vincent Chichuka, as you say, had a shout for man of the match. I mean, he was in everything. He was just dynamic. He was explosive. He was really putting his hand up for a more permanent position in this experimental kind of test that's run on. And that shows now because he's been picked for this week ahead. Which is great.
I thought Chesney was well deserving of man of the match.
Mate, let me tell you something. For the people out there that keep banging on the drum about how fantastic DuPont is and how he's the best player on the planet, they obviously haven't seen Cheslin play, because Cheslin Colby is the best player on the planet right now.
Followed swiftly by Peter Steph.
He is unbelievable.
He's not even in the top 2 in the world, Anton DuPont. And what has he won? Good on you. You got a gold medal from the Olympics for sevens. Anyway,
moving along swiftly.
Like Peter Steph is and Cheslin could have been World Player of the Year last year, and it's because they're both top 2, right?
But the form is in now. That step, I mean, there was a double step somewhere in the second half where he just stepped inside, stepped outside, stepped 2 players. The amount of yards that he made, I think he had 6 runs, made 139 meters.
10 of those meters was through Riccatelli.
He bumped another forward. Yeah, it was
Riccatelli.
Riccatelli. Yeah, hooker again, a small diminutive guy against the hooker, just bumped him like he wasn't.
So that's 2 All Blacks. That's
Scott Barrett,
Bowden Barrett, Scott Barrett, and now
and
Riccatelli. Boom, sit down.
No, legend, dude. I think it was a good performance by the Boks.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot more to grow. Looking forward to this week's test against Italy at Loftus. I think it's a near sellout. It sounds like they've sold most of the tickets. Hopefully the weather's a lot better and it's not as cold as miserable as it was in Cape Town, and it allows the guys to play with a bit of flair against an Italian side that, with all due respect, and I don't want to sound arrogant, we should beat quite comfortably.
But they're a test team.
If they're a test team, it's going to be
so they're not the Barbarians, they're a test team, and they have been playing in the last couple of years at a much higher and better standard in the Six Nations than they have been, previously before.
No, they've pushed Scotland. They've beat Wales twice in a row now. So, well, everyone's beating Wales now, but still, they'll be plucky and they'll be competitive for 60 odd minutes.
Yeah.
But looking at that team, we're going to run through the team now, mate, and can't wait to get to the tight 5 because that is the and I use sexy in inverted commas, but that is the sexiest tight 5 on a team sheet I've seen in many years. But let's go through the team.
So at 15, Damien Willemse comes back.
How good? 613 days, I think, since
nice.
he last played for the Springboks in the World Cup final.
But to replace the man he has replaced, who I think put 2 chip kicks in on the weekend, is Apalele Fasi is just playing at such a high level, and he has been for a while. He's been an understudy to Willie Leroux, quite widely known that. I think Rusty asked Willie to put him under his wing and sort of mentor him, and that clearly is proving dividends because he played so well. He was coming into the line exceptionally well, dropped a couple, I think dropped onto the left and then onto the right to score the 2 tries, both wingers going through. Your man had a great game. So tough.
No, he did, and he used his opportunity last year with Willemse out injured. He really cemented himself as the number 1 fullback in the country. But in saying that, it's great to have Damien back because he gives you versatility.
Huge.
He can cover fly-off, he can cover inside centre, he can cover fullback.
He's Mr. Utility, 100%. And you want that leading up to another World Cup. You want people who can play centre or play flank. Like that's what you need. And for Willemse, if you had a 6-1 split and had him as your 1, you're covering all your bases in the back line, basically.
Exactly. So he gives you that option. He gives Rassi the freedom to go and pick a 7-1 split because he can cover all those positions.
7-1. Yeah.
Just great to have him back in the team.
So Damien's back. Looking forward to seeing how he goes. I think 15 is actually a really good position for him. Obviously, he's been trialled as often as a 10. And he plays exceptionally well at 10, but I think he's better at 15 in my opinion.
That's his position, I agree.
Yeah. So he's coming in at 15. Cheslin still retains his position. So another man of the match performance incoming. Yeah, picks himself. Jesse, captain again for this week coming.
That's a big one. If you asked me 10 years ago, would Jesse Creel ever be Springbok captain, I wouldn't have said yes. He's never captained any provincial side. I don't know if he's ever captained in Japan. I don't think he has. But just what a legend. Again, when he got injured in 2019, Lucanio took his opportunity and made that 13 place his own. Then Lucanio got injured, Jesse came back, and since then he hasn't relinquished that number 13 jersey. Actually, Lucanio is now out of the squad. So Jesse's really, that combination with him and Damien, I think, is the best on the planet.
Yeah.
And Jesse, again, for me, is one of the first names. If you have to pick just a consistent, the best Springbok side, he picks himself. The 67th Springbok captain, and just a great honour and a great place for him to go and captain because he spent so many years at the Bulls. So I think it'll be special for him to captain the Bokke at Loftus.
Yeah, fair play. Got a Laka W under his belt as captain, first nudge, and so let's hope that momentum stays and he gets another one. He should though. And as you said, Damien alongside him, the dynamic duo. I mean, they're just an outstanding, as you said, outstanding pairing. Kirtley, I thought Kirtley played really well.
He had a great game.
He had a great game. Both wingers did. He maybe was outshone a little by Chesney on the other wing, but I think the ball was just maybe on that side more than was on his. I think he still had a great game. Both of them had a sensational game in tough conditions under the high ball.
Yeah.
Both of them. Morne van den Berg, he played well on the weekend as well.
He did. Yeah, had a solid game without, setting the world alight, but everyone knows his potential that he has, and I love the fact that Rassi's backing him and giving him more and more game time. He got 2 shots against Australia last year, and he's getting another good run out now in 2 games in a row. And then our man, who's just left Leicester, up north.
I was going to say,
but great to see him back, Mr. Pollard.
The legend that is Andre Pollard. So, I mean, I know you're frothing at the bunghole waiting for him to come back to the Bulls for next year. And he's getting an opportunity to play in the green and gold
at Loftus. Yeah,
so fair play to him.
I think he's going to play great. I think he's going to relish that environment starting at Loftus. I think he's going to have a great game.
But he always has a great game. So,
yeah, he's solid. He is solid.
So, Mr. Reliable. Jasper Wiese's back at 8.
Yeah, it was interesting. Jean-Luc, I think, had a decent game. He didn't, again, set the world alight, but he didn't make any real mistakes.
No.
But Jasper, without Cameron Hanekom there, I think Jasper's the man, definitely.
I think picking up the ball at the back of the scrum, he did really, really well. He was strong, he was physical through the game. But unfortunate that he got a clap from Lut. Lut running in, head down.
It was unfortunate.
It was. Vincent Chituka retains his place, and again, he played arguably a man of the match performance in his debut. And so fair play to him. Russ is keeping him in, which is, to say that you play well and you'll retain your position. In a wider squad that has so much depth, there's people chomping at the bit. So to get given an opportunity and to take it like he did, fair play.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Kobus Wiese might get a shot at some point, and maybe we see him against Georgia further down the line. But like you say, Chichuka played himself into the test team. He had a great game last week, and well-deserved debut on the weekend.
Lekker. Mr. Eskom, Marco van Staden, again, not much you can say about the boy.
Just consistently
just
good.
Solid, yeah. Lut Diaga, I really thought he played well.
He had a great game.
Great
First game back for more than 2 years.
First nudge. And, form is temporary, class is forever, and your man came in and just slotted back.
He had a great game, scored a great try. He was all over the place. So solid in the set piece.
Yeah.
He is like out of here. They're an inch or two taller than anybody else, so he gives you that extra length in the line out, and I'm just so excited to see him and Eben back together.
Him and Eben back together with Archie on the bench. What a combination of
Franco.
Franco's in there.
Yeah.
So Eben's there, as I say, he's back for another cap.
Yeah.
Just amassing those caps on his way to 150.
Love it.
If you didn't watch today, go and have a look. We've posted our Mount Rushmore, and he's up there. Well worth a look. And then in the front 3, Wilco Low getting a shot.
That is the scariest front row. I wouldn't. Who would want to scrum against these guys? Wilco Low is, for me, the URC player of the season. He didn't have one bad game for the Bulls.
Have you seen? He is tank.
He's a legend.
He's built different. There's just, it's as if he swallowed a brick and it just went everywhere.
Yeah.
He is just muscle.
No, he's solid. He does move back in the scrum. That combo, him, Malcolm, Ox in the front row, that is scary, mate, because Ox is the best scrummager at Lucet. I think Wilco, there's maybe a couple of other guys. Tyrell Lomax did really well at tight head last year. We'll see how he goes against the French, but Wilco, for me, currently is the form tight head in World Rugby. He's been so good in the URC.
There's been many people calling for him to get a Springbok run on. He's been in and around the squad for a while. He's played once or twice. He's run on once or twice, but good for him to get a start.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Malcolm, we know, got another try on the weekend, as he does.
He's in his 20s now, mate.
Yeah,
in terms of scoring tries, it's insane.
It's as if, so him and Mapimpi, it's like if they're on the field, they're going to get a try.
They're going to get a try
at one point, and then Oxenchair, who you talked about,
the best Lucet on the planet.
Correct.
Easily.
Nice to see. Now, we talked about this before we started filming. Of the 1, 2, 3,
8 players on the bench.
Players on the bench, we have 7 double World Cup winners. It's just...
That's a scary bomb squad.
Mate, if last week with the Barbarians, if Rusty sent on the bomb squad and they put their head in their hands, if it happens this week, I think which likely will, the Italian coaching staff will just leave. They'll just
go for a coconut pie and just chill.
Exit stage left. 7 double World Cup winners coming on. So we've got Bongi Mnambi, Vincent Koch, Archie Snyman, Franco Mostert, Kwagga Smith, Faf de Klerk, and Willie Leroux. Nice to see Willie and Faf back on the bench and getting a run on. But again, great players in their own right. Willie's been, as I say, coming to the end of his career. Nice for him to play at Loftus again.
Yeah, getting his 99th cap.
Nice. He's so close to that ton and lifting the bats. Good luck to you, boy. But those, I mean, Bongi, sensational to send him on in replacement of Malcolm. Jan Hendrik Wessels is the other one that we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Again, very, very deserving.
One of the most dynamic players that's come through in the last year or two. You know me, I'm a big fan.
You are.
Again, he hasn't won a World Cup, but he's no slouch in that pack on the bench, mate. He's going to come in, make a massive impact, and continue the good work that Ox has done for 60 odd minutes. Yeah,
Mr. Incredible Vincent Koch. Again, just send him on. There's some people that are just built, and you know what they're for. And that man is built for scrumming.
Absolutely.
So send him on.
We don't lose anything if Wilco goes off and Koch comes on.
Yeah. Archie Snyman. Again, coming back into the squad. I love the fact that he played 10 at schoolboy level.
Yeah.
Now he plays. And you see that in his
skills.
His handling, the way that he takes one-handed off the top of the line out, down to the scrum half. He's not only off there, but in the mauls, you'll have it in one hand and then flick it out the back door. He's got so much capability, so much ability. So for Lewitt or Eben to come off and Achia to go running on, mate, again, sensational.
No, it's going to be a long day at the office for Italy, I'm sad to say. I think they'll do well to keep the score within 15 points maybe.
I would be surprised if we don't put 50 on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough day for them.
Franco and Kwagga, both of them, again, goes without saying, they've got outstanding careers. You know what you're getting with both of them. And I like to see Kwagga. We talked about this coming on as a replacement.
Yeah.
Faf, nice to see him back in the squad.
Good to see him back. He was out he got injured against Ireland last year and he didn't play any test rugby after that. So just good to even have him back in the mix. I thought he would get a run out against the Barbarians. He didn't, but...
he's getting a shot this week.
Yeah.
And then, as I say, Billy. Amazing team. And it speaks to the depth of South African rugby right now.
Mate, we spoke about it off air before. Think about the players that played last week and players that are out injured. Frans Malherbe injured. Peter Steff currently injured. He'll be back soon. Fassi's not picked. Mapimpi's not picked. Andre Esterhuizen's not picked. Sia's not picked. Just the depth that we are building. Grant Williams, I still think he's our best scrum half.
Yeah,
he hasn't even got a run this year. We'll see him at some point. Sasha's not playing. There's literally 50 players that Rassie can pick at his leisure, mix and match, and we'll mix it up with the best in the world.
And why do you think we are in such a rich vein of form and also have such depth in talent right now? What again, where does it start? We're reaping the benefits of it now, but is it because of grassroots rugby? Is it because of what happened in 2007 and we've seen the culmination of the next gen of people who saw us win that World Cup and that kicked on and now are playing rugby at international level, and we're reaping the benefits of that?
I think there was a mind shift when the All Blacks dominated between 2010 and 2016. They had one singular vision in New Zealand, is to make the All Blacks the best side in the world. I believe they still have that, but they were really the first team where provincially, if Graham Henry or Steve Hansen said we need to rest this player or that player before the World Cup, the provincial sides, the franchises would do that because they understood we have to have the All Blacks win to sort of have that success and that drive filter through all the structures from grassroots. And I think that mind shift has finally happened in South Africa, where all the efforts, at least from my point of view, everyone's got a great relationship with Rassie, all the franchises, and there's a singular goal: is get the Springboks to win. That is it. If everyone, all the club teams, all the provincial sides, Currie Cup teams, if your entire structure is built to support that team, you're going to have talent coming through. But also, to his credit, is Rassie keeps backing guys. He keeps picking young players. He doesn't pick 15 inexperienced guys and puts them on the field. He'll pick an inexperienced guy and put him next to Eben, like a Salman Murat, or he'll pick a Sasha and put him next to Kobus Reinach.
Yeah.
And he'll partner inexperienced players next
With
to very experienced players, and that helps them settle and grow in that position. And winning becomes a habit, mate. It sounds like a cliche, but it really is. And then you factor in just, you know, what the team means to South Africans, that momentum that's behind the Springboks. It's going to be hard to stop.
No other country has their national day as like Friday in South Africa. If you don't know it, go and take a look online. Is Black Friday.
Yeah.
Everyone going to work. Everyone wears their jerseys. It's a religion. So you know, I'm grateful for that. We're seeing the fruits of those labors.
Yeah.
From grassroots all the way through. But yeah, it's long may this continue. I'm enjoying, and I'm sure Rassie is too, his ability to be able to go, one world-class player goes down, it's okay, we've got other world-class players in that position.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it comes down to player management. Like, Sia's ready to play, right? There's nothing really wrong. He had a stiff neck last week. He's got a bit of an Achilles problem this week, but nothing that's preventing him from playing. If we played the All Blacks in a World Cup final, he would be on the field. But Rassie is pragmatic. He's like, why risk him? And he said, out of the, how many tests are we playing? 14 tests that we're playing this year. He said, I don't expect players to play more than 9 tests each. So he
Rotation.
definitely can continue with that rotation policy, which I think just builds our depth. And who knows who's going to make their debut next year. And then we're 2 years away from the World Cup, mate. By the time the World Cup comes around, a guy like Sasha will have 30, 35 caps to his name. Well sort of experienced in international rugby, and it's just that squad's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think, and I've said this before, to win a World Cup in any sport, you need winning momentum coming in. So, you know, when we won the Tri-Nations Rugby Championship in 2019, I think it was, 2019, when we won that before, then went on to win. So you need momentum, you need strength and depth, and you need a bit of luck to go your way. And I think in the past 2 World Cups, we've had all of those, and maybe a wee bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it, buddy. Thanks for the chat. That was a lot of fun. We'll make a plan, I'm sure, for watching the Bokke together on the weekend. We'll do this again next week. Go Bokke.
Cheers.
Cheers.